My guest today on the podcast is a fascinating guest. Her name is Leonard. Sammy, Samantha, but we're going to stick with Sam today. And Sam is involved in the incredible sport of sled dog racing, which when you think about the fact that Sam lives in Forbes in like Central West New South Wales, if I'm not mistaken. When I think of sled dog racing, Sam, I'm thinking in people dressed in Eskimo suits and, this is going to be a great conversation. It's Saturday afternoon. We can kind of keep this pretty casual. Thanks so much for coming on the podcast.
You're welcome, Ian. No problem at all.
Now, just so people understand, you've just knocked off for the day and your day job is as the owner of a smash repair business in Forbes, which is interesting enough. I mean, 30 years ago, if that would be a story in itself, a woman running a smash repair business, but things have changed a lot in 30 years. How did you get into the smash repair work?
Actually, it was by luck and fluke. At 17 years old, fresh out of year 12, had no idea what I wanted to do. Thought, I was interested in art, interested in cars. Okay, I'll put the two together and I will I'll look at getting a spray painting apprenticeship. Mind you, I had absolutely no idea what it involved. Like, this was just a guess. Yeah. The second place I rang for a job, I got an interview and was lucky enough to get an apprenticeship.
Yeah.
And by luck, I absolutely love it. So that's how it began. And then a few years later, branched out with a partner into a business, and then 12 months later I had that on my own, and I've been there ever since.
Yeah. How many years are we talking now?
I've just hit 12 years in my own business.
What's the business called?
Forbes Smash.
Yeah.
Pretty straightforward.
And everybody in Forbes knows Forbes Smash, I'm sure.
Yes, they know Forbes Smash, and I think, as you said, it's quite interesting, a girl running it, so I think that intrigues people a little bit as well.
Yeah. Well, in some respects, it's not even the thing you want to talk about now, because you don't want to make a big deal of the fact that, you're a woman and you're running a smash repair. Like, oh, how is that possible? You're a woman and you do this? So, we live in different times, but as I say, 20, 30 years ago, that would have been a real talking point.
Yep. Yeah, and it's accepted without a doubt now. There's no issues with me running it. I've never been questioned over it, so I think it's great. And I actually have another girl who works for me as well, so we have a bit of a dynamic team now, and we work really well together. With it's a mixed up team, but it works.
That's cool. I was going to ask if you had any female apprentices over the years.
Yeah, I've got one now. She started it quite a few years ago, and she's come back now to she will be finishing it starting next year.
I was just thinking, with COVID and everything, perhaps less people traveling, less cars on the road, less people getting into accidents. Has your business slowed up at all during the pandemic?
It did last year. We did quite and right down last year because of that exact reason, especially being out country New South Wales. People couldn't go anywhere, like you said, so no one was traveling out of town, so there was no accidents really. We had enough work to go on with. We do restorations as well, so we have big jobs, so we could continue on with those. We were never out of work. This year hasn't been too bad. It has quietened off a little bit, but I think people looked at it differently this year. They actually got their car fixed while they were in lockdown because they didn't need it. So I think that's what kept us going this time.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, they're about to open up the prison doors pretty soon and let us all out. So look out, Forbes. You're going to be swamped by us Sydney-siders heading west and, being silly on the roads and coming to visit Forbes Smash Repairs for a bit of running repair. So 12 years doing smash repairs, and the big ticket item here is sled dog racing. How long have you been into that one?
I've only been involved in this a few years.
Yep.
I've had Siberian Huskies for 12 years, same as the shop. There you go. So yes, involved in the sport a few years. Love it. It's a great sport, and I'm looking forward to telling you about it.
Yeah, well, certainly looking forward to hearing about it. And I've resisted the urge to do too much research because I just wanted to come on here totally blind and ignorant and talk to an expert. So, of course, I'm one of these people who doesn't even know that sled dog racing existed. I don't know if you got a Sydney chapter or a Sydney club.
I'm actually probably one of the furthest away. There is a club based in Sydney and up in the Central Coast area. That's where most people come from, around that way. I'm way out west away from everyone, which makes it a little bit hard for training. I travel about 4.5 hours for a race meeting. So, yeah, I'm the outsider.
I'd imagine to be into sled dog racing, for a start, you've got to be into dogs and perhaps into Huskies in particular. So tell us, what's your background with dogs and with Siberian Huskies?
Yeah, absolutely. You do need to have an interest in dogs. To do sled dog racing, you don't specifically have to have Huskies or, your Alaska Malamutes, any of your Northern Heritage dogs. Any breed of dog that can run or has a willingness to run and pull something can have a go at sled dog racing. All except your brachy breeds, which are your short-faced breeds, because of the difficulty breathing. But yeah, we see German short hair pointers, kelpies. I've seen a poodle, crossbreeds. It's not a specific breed that does it, but you do see more Huskies and Malamutes than any other breed. For the Huskies, this is just for the Siberian Huskies, for their breeds. So over 3,000 years ago, up in the top corner of Siberia, there was, Northern Inuit people and people of the Chukchi, they were called the Chukchi people, and they were basically isolated in winter. So they needed a dog that could, transport, hunt, companion. So from Siberian dogs came Siberian Huskies, and Siberian dogs were what the Chukchi people bred, and these dogs were designed to do what we do today. So they would pull, transport the Chukchi people's food. They're trading what they were trading with the other people. But this is over hundreds and hundreds of kilometres. So these dogs were designed for this, and that is where the sledding has come from. Exactly that, and they've been bred to do exactly what we do in the forest.
Yes. I'd imagine there'd be sled dog racing clubs, or at least Siberian Husky clubs, right around the world.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's huge in your Canada, Alaska, all your really, really cold areas. I don't know, have you ever watched the movie Togo?
No, tell me.
It's a bit more of a. It's based on the true story of in 1925, diphtheria outbreak. There was a diphtheria outbreak in Nome. So what happened was there was no way to get the serum from Anchorage, which was just over 1,000 miles, I believe, not kilometres, about over 1,500 kilometres. So the dogs actually had to do a serum run to get the serum back to Nome to save the town, because everyone would have basically died. And the dogs saved the day, the sled dogs, and that's what made sled dogs famous. That serum run, and the bravery and what they went through to get that serum back to Nome. And to this day, there is what's called the Iditarod race, which covers that run, so Anchorage to Nome, and it's an actual race of 1,049 miles.
Wow.
Yeah, so and that's big teams. That's 14 dogs through snow, through cold weather, through ice, through it all. Fighting for the top dog, I guess.
Do you have a bucket list item to race overseas sometime?
No, look, not so much to go overseas, but I definitely do want to get to some snow races. And because of COVID, this year and last year, all events have basically had to be cancelled because, as most people have noticed, it seems to get quite bad through winter. So all winter events have been cancelled. So there's a lot of people who haven't raced for 2 years.
Yeah, and a lot of dogs who haven't had exercise.
Yeah, so most people get out and still train their dogs. where they can, of course. But
Yeah, of course.
as for events, there's been we got 2 this year, so we're lucky to get 2 in before it all get back to lockdown.
Yeah. So obviously, I mean, my image of a sled dog racing is you behind a mobile thing with the Huskies pulling your pack bags in front of, but that's not what's going on here, is it? You're on a push bike, are you?
Yeah, you're close there, Ian. Yeah, so with the dryland sledding, which is what it predominantly is here in Australia because of their conditions. So that means we're going generally around state forest on the dirt tracks. And so if you have 1 or 2 dogs, you will be on a scooter. And it's a purpose-built scooter for this. It has disc brakes, or most do. And, the tyres are suited to the track. So you're on a scooter. If you have 3 or more dogs, then you're on what's called a rig. And that consists of 3 or 4 wheels, and you actually stand up on that. And that's what you use for dryland sledding. In the snow, they do snow races here as well. Then they will have a form of a sled.
Would they stand on the back of the sled?
Yes, you stand. You always stand so you have that somewhat of control, because if you're sitting down, you are not going to be able to pull up your rig or your scooter or your sled.
And the dogs are running. What kind of control have you got over their speed and their direction?
So we teach direction by command. So right is G, left is haul. So you need to have a good lead dog that you have taught direction, because they're going to go the wrong way if you don't.
Yeah.
You have your brakes on whatever you're on to help slow down, and your command. So you'll go, woo, slow down, and they need to slow down. And then you have a command, which could be hike or go faster.
Yeah. And do you have your own language with your dogs, or are these commands generic across all sled dog racing? Do all Huskies understand these commands?
Generic across the board, they are. Yes, everyone uses the same commands. There might be a few people that have changed it slightly to suit themselves, but that's pretty much it.
And is it a physical workout for you? Obviously your dogs are getting a workout, but in terms of it being a sport for you, what energy or strength or stamina is involved for you?
It comes down to the fitness of your dogs, really, but you still need to, on the scooter, you still need to scoot along as well to help the dogs. You don't want them pulling you the whole time. So you do need to have a little bit of fitness, but the fitter your dogs, the easier they're going to do the distance, and the easier they're going to be able to pull you along.
Uh-huh. And would there be 3 dogs in front of you? 2 dogs? 4 dogs?
2 dogs. I run 2 dogs, yes.
Okay. So this is a sport. You get together with people from other clubs and you have these days which are somewhat competitive but mostly fun, is what I'm thinking. Tell me.
Yep, you're absolutely spot on there, Ian. So it's mostly about fun. It's about getting your dogs out, doing what they're bred to do, doing what they love, and you having some fun. It is a sport at the end of the day. Everyone loves to win, but that's not what it's about. So there's several clubs. There's 2 clubs in New South Wales, the Siberian Husky Club of New South Wales and Siberian Express All Breeds Running Club. There's a few in Victoria, all other states except Northern Territory. So they all hold race meets each year. They could hold 1, 2, 3, 4, depending on the club. So that's where everyone gets together and holds their race. And then, different clubs will hold training events. Siberian Express hold boot camps, introduction to sledding day. So there are weekends and days out there for people to get involved and see what it's about and try it with their dog.
Yeah.
And then you've got Canberra Sled Dog Club, who have training runs at Cowan Forest every Saturday and Sunday through winter, where people get together and train. So yeah, it is a little bit of a community, I guess.
Well, if you've got a Siberian Husky out there or a suitable sled dog, then get in touch with your local sled dog club and just go along and find out what it's all about. It sounds heaps of fun. And I'm really, it's such a cool thing to hear about dogs doing what they like to do and do best. I live in the city and I see people walking their Kelpies around the place. And I know Kelpies were made to run. And from time to time, the owners take them to an off-leash area. I mean, Kelpies and border collies, these kind of dogs, they just like to go.
Yeah, Huskies definitely need space. They're energetic, as we said. They're bred to run, so they need that room to move. They thrive on doing what they love. It's phenomenal, the sun's still down and everyone's getting ready to do a race, and you've just got all these Huskies and other dogs, of course, just in their element, ready to run. It's a great thing to be a part of, actually.
How many dogs have you got personally, and how long have you had them?
I've got 3 now. I had 5, and unfortunately I've lost 2 in the last 12 months, which has been quite hard. So I'm down to 3, which is actually easily to maintain. There's a lot more to do with myself. Look, dogs are everything to me. They're a lot to me. I don't have kids personally. I have, put my time and effort into my business over the last many years, and so my dogs are somewhat of my kids. They're actually all just laying around my feet right now while I'm chatting to you.
Yeah. I know you're on your iPad there. Is it possible to position it in a way that we can see the dogs just for a moment? Can we?
Yeah, I can probably spin it around and give you a look if you like.
Okay. Let's see.
If we can do this.
Oh, look at that.
I'm trying to...
Have you worn them out already today? What have they been doing?
They've probably been playing this morning, I'd imagine. But they tend to, they go off what I'm doing. So if I'm out there walking around the yard, they'll follow me around. But I'm sitting here just chatting to you, so they'll just sit here with me.
Yeah. I had a Ridgeback for 13 years. Beautiful dog. And they're a big dog and they like their exercise, but when you're just sitting, they'll happily just lay at your feet and do nothing until you're ready to move again. So I love a big dog. Yes,
I'm with you. I agree.
What's the temperament of these dogs?
Temperament of Siberian Huskies.
Yes.
Look, they're very alert. They're intelligent, but they are so gentle. They're not a guard dog at all. They're friendly, although, they do have their pack and prey drive. So, and more so with the prey drive, there is some downfalls. You can't leave a gate open because your Husky will 9 times out of 10 run out that gate and go for a run because that is what they love to do.
Right,
So, but look, fantastic dogs, fantastic companions. Pack drive means they need a leader. Providing you're their leader, they'll be by your side.
So how long are your races? How fast do you travel? Give us the stats.
Oh, okay, the stats. So, look, it depends on the size of the team. So your 1 to 2 dog teams will run about 2 to 4 Ks through the forest, roughly. Your 6 or 4, 6, 8 dog teams will run anywhere over 5 kilometres. So the bigger the team, the further the race length will be. Look, some dogs can get over 30 kilometres an hour.
Wow.
at top speed. So when we race, there's timers, and they also work out your average speed. Your German short hair pointers, your GSPs, they are your fastest dog. They actually, because Siberians are bred for endurance, they are fantastic over long distances. But your GSPs are generally your winners on the short distance.
Does your dogs race against the German pointers, or do they only race against other Siberian Huskies?
Yeah, all race together. So it's just the classes work as 1 dog, 2 dog, 3 dog, no matter what type of breed they are. There's also novice classes for people who are just beginning, and they're shorter distance. They might be only 2 kilometres. But yeah, just to give the dogs a try, and people who are novice, just to give them a chance to see what it's like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And are you good? Are you the Forbes, 2021 champion?
Well, I am a Forbes because I'm the only one here. But no. Our first year we went well and won our class, and I must say the last time we raced, we were the Red Lantern, which was last.
You were sorry, can you repeat that for me?
They call it the Red Lantern, which is last.
Oh, okay.
One. And then the one after that, they went pretty well, I must say. But I think as we said before, it's not about winning. You want to get your dogs nice, clean run around the trail. the biggest thing is you've got to pass other people and have people pass you. So you want your dogs to continue running, not worry about the other dogs.
Yes.
They run, that's important.
Yeah. How much training do they need? Can you start them as pups, or you got to wait till they're a year or two?
Yeah, look, you can 12 to 18 months, you start training them. They need to be fully mature before they can actually run a race. So at least 18 months old. You wouldn't want to put the ruling is 18 months or over. Each state has an affiliation club, which is a part of the Australian National Kennel Council, and ours is Dogs New South Wales, and they have rules and regulations for every dog sport.
Yes.
So, and there's policies and laws.
And do you have a little wager on the side, or should we not answer that question? Or
no, look, there could be, but yeah, no, look, all about a bit of fun. I guess you just
whose shout it is.
Yeah,
something
basically,
like that.
A bit of banter. That's about it. But as long, everyone just cares that you get around the trail safely and have a good time.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. And what kind of ages and people are represented in sled dog racing?
All ages, people from all different walks of life. And it doesn't matter if you have a bond with your dog, or you don't even have to have that bond, but if you want to do something with your dog and get out, that's all that matters. There's kids there's people who are older generation, there's us who are a little bit younger generation, I guess you'd say. People from all different places, like I'm out here at Forbes, and as I said, you've got people in Central Coast, Sydney, out Bathurst, Orange Way, there's more people. So anyone who wants to have a go can get in and have a go.
I bet your dogs get excited when you put the equipment on the back of the truck or whatever vehicle you travel in.
They know when they're going.
They know when they're going.
When you pull up and they know that they're at the forest, they see that they're at the forest, I should say, they know, and yes, they do get excited. That's
so cool to hear that there's owners like you who are passionate about dogs and passionate about having them do what they love to do and what they're great at. And you're connecting with people right around the region and right across the state, and you're building community and you're having fun, and you spend a weekend or a day at least not thinking about repaneling someone's car. That's a good thing.
Exactly. And that's the thing too. It's it's great for the dogs, but it's also great for us. My partner Luke, he absolutely loves camping. So going away with the dogs, we camp for the weekend. So we get the best of, both worlds. We all get to enjoy it, and we get away from life for a couple of days.
And if people want to connect with this community, is there a website or some, how do people find out more about it?
Yeah, absolutely. So for New South Wales, the Siberian Husky Club, their website is, I've got this written down in case, shcnsw.org.au. And we've also got Siberian Express, which is siberianexpress.org. All contact details are on both of those websites, a calendar, bit of information. And then I'm sure in other states as well, people could just jump on, search for their local sled dog club, jump on there, get in contact with a committee member and go from there.
Fascinating. All right, Sam, thanks so much for coming on the podcast and chatting about yourself and what you do and about your dogs and about the sled dog racing. It's been incredibly informative, and wish you best for your weekend.
Yeah, no worries. You too, Ian. Thanks for having me.